Hello, you're listening to Truth in Motion, episode 6, and today we're talking about choice. Not the big, life altering kind, not the what am I doing with my life kind, the small ones, the ones that happen quietly in real time. Because if you've been listening to the last few episodes, we've been building something. We talked about rhythm, how we move, capacity, what we can hold, attention, where our energy goes, patterns, what keeps repeating. And right now, in the middle of all of that, there's a moment, a small one. That moment is choice. It's easy to think that change comes from big decisions. But most of life doesn't move that way. Life shifts in smaller moments. You notice something. A reaction, a habit, a feeling rising. And for a second, there's space. That space might be very small, but it's there. And inside that space, there's a choice. Do I respond the same way as I always have? Or do I try something different? And that's where everything begins to change. Not perfectly, not all at once, just slightly. And here's the honest part. Most of the time, the first instinct is familiar. The pattern is already there. The reaction is ready. That's normal. The body moves quickly. But awareness slows things down just enough so instead of reacting immediately, you might pause, even for a second. And that pause is powerful because it gives you access to something new. Choice. Choice doesn't mean forcing yourself to be different. It means noticing what's happening and gently redirecting. So let's make it real. You're in a conversation and something triggers you. Normally, you might shut down or push back or explain yourself quickly. But this time, you feel it. And instead of reacting right away, you take a breath. That's a choice. You're overwhelmed, and your usual move is to distract yourself. Scroll, fill the space, avoid the feeling. But this time, you notice it. And you stay for a moment. That's a choice. Or you feel something good, excitement, connection, joy. And the usual pattern is to downplay it or move past it. But this time, you let it land. And that's a choice. These are all small, but they add up. And this is where choice connects to everything else. Now, capacity gives you the ability to stay in the moment. Attention lets you see what's happening. And then the patterns show you what's familiar. And choice? Choice is where you step into something new. And again, not perfect. Not every time, but enough to begin shifting direction. And there's something important here. Choice isn't always comfortable. Sometimes the new response feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel awkward at first. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means you're stepping outside of what your system is used to. And that's how things change. Slowly, through repetition, through small decisions made over and over again. And yes, there's something a little funny about it. Because we often wait for the right moment to change, the perfect day, the improved mindset, a version of ourselves that is close to being perfect. But life doesn't wait like that. Change happens in ordinary moments. In a random Tuesday afternoon, in a quiet conversation, in a small decision no one else even sees. That's where things actually move. Choice is not about control. It's about participation. You're not forcing life. You're responding to it differently. And over time, those responses create a new path, a new rhythm, a new pattern, and a new way of being. So maybe this week, instead of trying to change everything, just notice the moments where you have a choice. Because those moments are there more often than you think. And then see what happens when you take one small step in a different direction. And that's enough. That's where it begins. And that is truth in motion. I'll talk to you next week.